they're not the sort of situations you ever want to find yourself in. We are talking about a home break-in or maybe a shooter where you work. Your life could be threatened and you could be forced to pull the trigger to protect yourself, your home, or your family.
We've had several people who have had to use deadly force and have killed perpetrators, and they're not trigger-happy people. They're grandma up, down the street. It's not gun-toting people who are just quick on the trigger. Not at all. It's really the last resort that these people find themselves in.
So coming up tonight, we are learning more about a unique service working to protect gun owners trying to protect themselves. So you can find out how this prepaid legal service aims to offer peace of mind to the responsible gun owner. That's tonight on Eyewitness News, and that'll happen right after the game.
So think about this. What if you found yourself in a situation where you were forced to pull the trigger to protect yourself, your home, or your family?
And tonight, Eyewitness News anchor Gina Gaston shows us a very unique company in Houston working to protect gun owners trying to protect themselves.
It's not the sort of situation you would ever want to find yourself in, a home break-in or maybe an active shooter at work, your life being threatened. For gun owners who pull the trigger for protection, do they become heroes or have they only landed themselves in hot water and handcuffs? That's where the Houston-based company Texas Law Shield offers its service.
Members of Texas Law Shield, they are typically gun owners. Whether they have to use their gun in self-defense, defense of third party, defense of property, then we are the lawyers who handle that case.
For a monthly fee of about $11 a month, the prepaid legal service pitches itself as peace of mind for the responsible gun owner.
We've had several people who have had to use deadly force and have killed perpetrators, and they're not trigger-happy people. They're grandma up, down the street. It's not gun-toting people who are just quick on the trigger. Not at all. It's really the last resort that these people find themselves in.
They just stole something. I'm going out the window. I'm sorry. I ain't gonna let them get away with this.
Texas Law Shield began 8 years ago after the wrap-up of the Joe Horn case, the Pasadena man who shot and killed 2 men believed to have burglarized his neighbor's home. Saying he fired out of fear for his life and property, that shooting was ruled a justifiable use of deadly force. 8 years later, self-defense is still the most common gun charge Texas Law Shield defends.
When you have to use deadly force, you are judged based on what's called a reasonable standard. Now, reasonable is not a defined term, and it's not whether you think it's reasonable or whether I think it's reasonable. It's whether that jury thinks it's reasonable, and those 12 people will determine whether you were justified in using deadly force. So it's not cut and dry whatsoever.
The horrific mass shooting in Orlando touched off a flurry of phone calls to the service that covers members in all 50 states. What if a good guy with a gun had been there to stop that shooter? Places like nightclubs are recognized as soft targets because guns are usually prohibited inside. However, in Texas, something called the defense of necessity might cover you.
So the argument would be, look, jury, that individual broke the law of unlawful carry, absolutely. But think about what would have happened if he didn't. And that's the argument, and I don't know if that's a winning argument.
They haven't represented a client on that just yet, but as the number of mass shootings has grown, so too have gun sales, along with Texas Law Shield's membership, from a few thousand to 200,000 since it began in 2008.
If you were to decide to go rogue and go hold up a 7-Eleven, we're not going to represent you. We're here for the good guys. We're here for the lawful gun owner.
Texas Law Shield says it receives hundreds of calls a year to its 24/7 emergency hotline for members charged with gun crimes, though it's difficult for the company to estimate how many of their clients are cleared of their charges.